Hello, this is a QGIS example of how to create a cable offset in a FTTH type design. For this tutorial, I will be using a program named FiberQ, which is right here. It's a plugin for QGIS. I can put the link in the description for the video. Even though I'm using this plugin, 95% of what I'm discussing here, you can just do with any layer or any element on QGIS. So the plugin really isn't that important to this particular video, but I'm going to use it. So let's say we have 4 poles here for an aerial route, and we have some cables along these routes like this. So what we're looking at right here is actually 4 cables. So it's not just one cable, it's 4 cables. So we have a cable from 1 to 2, from 1 to 3, from 1 to 4, that type of thing. So it's hard to represent this as we see it here. So what about if we were able to do something like this and just show an offset? So this is the same example, just using a little bit of fancy footwork to make this happen. So let's walk through what it would take to do this. So first of all, and this is part of the FiberQ plugin that you can download, we need to create a route, and we need to create it manually. So we'll do this, and then from there, we'll just connect each of the poles together, and then right click, it's aerial, and say OK. All right, so we've created a route here. Sorry, I had to turn it on. Actually, the route had it created the route inside this group. But anyways, so here is the route, and then we need to connect to build our example. We need to connect from each pole, like I was talking about. So we'll just need to lay some cable here. So we'll come up here. We'll pick aerial. We'll say the first one's backbone. Oh, sorry. I'm still getting used to the program. First of all, we have to connect or select 2 of the elements. There's a couple ways to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight poles and then just use the QGIS selection tool. Okay, so that selects 2 poles. Now we can come up aerial, backbone, and then it gives us, you can fill in all of your information. We're just going to call this cable 1. Okay, so it's created it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to clear that out, and we're going to go ahead and select, select highlight poles, and then select the that one, and then hold down Control and just click on it, and you can have 2 poles. So what I'm telling the software is that I want to run a cable from pole number 1 to pole number 3. And so just as we did before, we'll come down here, aerial. This time we'll just make it distribution cable, and we'll call it cable number 2. And say OK. So that's that. So I'm gonna pause the video real quick. I'll do these other 2 so we don't make a super long video with you watching me just do the same thing over and over again. All right, so I went ahead and laid in all the cables, and let's take a look at what we did here. So what we've got here is the aerial cables. So some are backbone, some are distribution, some are dropped. I just kind of mixed it up a little bit to make it a little more interesting. And then if we hit F6, we can look at the attribute table. So what's nice about this Fiber Q plugin is it gives you, so you can fill in all these, all this attribute information. So if you're really looking to build up a bill of material, so this is a good place to start, and you can put in as much information. He's really got everything in here that you would need to say about the cable. It has your length in meters. It says from what, so you can even see here that it's giving you an idea if you're going from pole 1 to pole 2. The second one goes to pole 3, so and so on. So there's quite a bit of good information in here that you can learn a lot about your drawing. So And we'll make more videos about all the details, but this I primarily wanted to focus on just the cable offset. So from here, let's go ahead and take a look at the layer styling, and we can see that the layers are already, as they come in, are already it's got categorized, which is fine. So what we would like to do is actually make these offset a little bit. What we need to do is pick the symbol. So that would be this symbol. And then it's a simple line. And then what I like to do is change this to meters at scale. So it's not bouncing all over the place. Or as you zoom in and zoom out, it kind of locks it in. And then the next step would be to, here you have this option for offset, and you can select this little guy and then say edit. And then that's going to bring up this expression builder right here. What we need to do is come up with some kind of a kind of, you call it like an if statement or something, to kind of make your offsets work and make sense. So here's an example of a statement that you could write that would accomplish the offsets. So as it runs through each one of the feature IDs, it looks at it and determines whether it's so I guess starting, maybe I should start at the ground level. So each of these has a feature ID. So each one of those four cables have a feature ID, and that's assigned automatically by QGIS. So that's something you can grab a hold of when you're coding. So the feature IDs start at 1, and then they work. Then in this case, it'll work through 4. And so I'm just harnessing that. So it's gonna go out. It's gonna look at the feature ID, and that's gonna say if it's a 1, and it's just testing if it's even or odd. And then that's going to just determine how it's going to offset it. So that's what's going on here with this simple bit of code. And then here's the results of what it does. So if it's a feature ID is 1, it won't offset it at all. If it's a feature ID 2, it offsets it from 0, obviously, -1. And then if it's 3, it offsets 1. If it's 4, it offsets 2. And that logic scales to however many cables that you have in it. So it's dynamic. So this code just isn't set up here for 4 cables. It's set up for however many, and that becomes however many you tend to have. And I can post this in the link to how to this code. But basically, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is keep yourself centered here by offsetting from a negative and a positive. Is how that's working. The feature IDs. So all the IDs are positive, but it's creating this negative value and a positive value off of center to kind of give you this offset to keep, because if you just let it go in one direction, all these are just going to start going off this way or this way. So that's what that logic's about, is trying to keep things a little bit more in center, so to speak. One unfortunate takeaway here is that the cable labels don't offset as well. I'm sure we can figure out some way to fix that in code. But this is more just an introductory to a conceptual type of idea. So you could also always just come up with turn labels off and do it like that. But I'm sure that can be fixed in code. So hope that was helpful.